Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dark Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the 91st Ultimate Clash and basically, to cut a long story short, see, of course, how you can beat it. Now I use mainly mono teams, this shouldn't surprise anyone. You'll see the teams on the left hand side, you'll also see some of the boss's details. Where applicable, I will do my best to talk through what each boss does if it's necessary, but level 1 and level 2 are very simple. You don't really struggle with them unless you're like brand new and you only have like one team. So for the most part, the only tips I can really give you in terms of stage 1, skip both of these fights. So essentially use Team Bardock for Devilman, use Ginyu Force for Catopesra. The reason for this is because you want to save on your good units for later on. Then in stage 2, most of the units are very similar. For example, Yamcha is immune to stunning, attack down, defense down. So is Goten, so is the Grand Supreme Kai. Grand Supreme Kai, he can seal you on his super. Yamcha raises his attack and defense, but none of them hit super duper hard. We'll be strictly using mono teams here to take each of them on. And their health pools are not huge, 15 million, 16 million, and 27 million for the Grand Kai. So Yamcha and Goten, very similar. Grand Kai, decent-ish, but they're not hard. It's really a big jump up to stage 3. That's where things get very intense. So for now, I use your weaker teams where possible to save yourself some time and space and some of your good units for a little bit later on, because you're going to need more tools and more units for stage 3 than you will for stage 2. Of course, build your teams basically with categories in mind, although mono teams work fine for me. If you have really strong category teams, if you've got TT heroes, movie heroes, movie bosses, fusion, for example, earth protecting heroes, you can put together a whole bunch of really strong category teams, then it's more than fine. I just find it easier to go mono because I know then every unit's protected, and that's really about it. Things get a little bit more interesting with stage 3. All of the bosses have their health shoot up. So Bardock has 106 million, Frieza has 110, the Gohan and Piccolo have 130, the Soanel and Pirina have 150 mil, and then Trunks has 200 mil. The bosses all have some unique mechanics. For example, Bardock has increased damage reduction rate when his character's name includes Frieza. That's why against him, we strategically used a team that would not feature Frieza. Same with Frieza, basically his attack is up when he faces a pure Saiyans. So by building a team that generally avoids a couple pure Saiyans, it does help. Obviously in the case of our team build, we did incorporate Broly, but that's because Broly is overwhelmingly good and really helped us with setup. Frieza can be sealed, Bardock can be sealed, which helps a lot, and you can lower Frieza's attack, which is helpful. Frieza also scale attack up every turn. Gohan and Piccolo, they're immune to stunning and attack down. They will also lock characters in place, which is the more irritating mechanic. Because of that, your team that faces them needs to be very flexible. You need to have tanks in most positions, or at least units that can tank a super attack. If you can do that, then you can have a fairly consistent good time, and you don't have to worry too much about the implication of them potentially locking someone in place that doesn't want to be locked in place. Then probably, I would say, at least for me, I found this to be the least favorite fight of mine, and this features the Saiyan and Pirina. Large reason for this is that they heal quite a bit, their attack scales up, and you basically, to have a really nice time against them, have to stun them. So if you can get the stun off from them, the fight becomes incredibly easy. If you don't get the stuns off, then the fight becomes more difficult. So try and incorporate as many stunners and sealers as you can, within reason, within your team for them, to give yourself an easier time. Then we take on Trunks. So for Trunks, usually I would use a strength team. There's some really great mono strength teams, but I wanted to showcase this time around the power of the free-to-play clone Rose team. See, if you have your own Rose, or you have your own future Saga lead, that's fairly commendable. you can run the Clone Rose team fairly easily. All of the Clone Rose free-to-play units are more than fine to take on Trunks as a boss. They can tank him, they can evade him, they provide a ton of debuffs to him because they're facing a superclass unit, they attack down, they heal, they do tons of great stuff. Obviously with the Goku Rose clone team, you want to keep things as per you would usually with the team, so using AGL Rose to tank, having your second slot kind of like Strength Clone Rose, Tech Clone Rose, and you can even use the free-to-play Zamasu Merged as your lead as well. So you don't have to have, any specific lead aside from at least one decent Future Saga lead. That generally to me means either Strength Rose or the Strength Blue Boys. I'm using the Blue Boys here to show you that you don't need Rose to run the team. However, if you have physical Goku Black, I think that could also work, the physical Goku Rose. So if you have him, you can probably make it work. Or even Tech Zamasu would probably work. Just maybe not as well, but he would probably work overall. So there is definitely a good team there, and I think one that works really, really nicely. And it's a great one where if you have the units, you only need like one summonable unit to be able to make it work, which I think is really where things function quite nicely. But that's it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you need any more help, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye.